Hello, everybody. This is a really special treat for me personally, and I'm sure for everyone who has the opportunity to watch this. We are joined by two people who have dedicated their life, in part, to helping farmers and ranchers and producers, particularly those small and mid-sized operators who struggle every single day, but who do an amazing job of providing food and fiber and fuel to the entire country and the world. Joining me today is one person who doesn't really need me or anyone else to introduce him, and that's the great Willie Nelson. I asked him before this broadcast started whether I could call him Willie because, like you, I have just such enormous respect for him. He gave me permission to do so. So Willie, it is for this podcast, and he is joined by Michael Kovach, who is a farmer who served us admirably in the military, who came to Pennsylvania and decided to be a value-added producer, and one who has a great diversity to his farming operation, who has been engaged and involved with the National Farmers Union for a number of years in a leadership position. And both of these individuals have been just incredibly supportive of efforts from Farm Aid to various efforts to try to make sure that the lifestyle, the value system of small and mid-sized producers is preserved and enhanced. So welcome to both of you. And Willie, if I can start with you, you started in 1985 with a number of your colleagues in the music industry to start off with Farm Aid. I'm not sure when you started that you expected you'd still be doing it, but you have been. Tell us a little bit why you're doing it, who you're doing it for, and what it means to you.
Well, I grew up in a farm community up in around Abbott, Texas, West Waco, a lot of cotton, corn up there. I worked in the fields all my life, pulled corn, worked the corn sheller, baled hay. So I know how hard work it is. I know how hard it is to get up in the morning and go out there and work all day long and then come home and not have a lot of money in your pocket when you do. So I know the family farmer. I tried to help however way I can. And over the years, with a lot of help from a lot of friends, Neil Young and John Mellencamp and all those great folks have helped me out to do, I don't know how many farm aids we've done, 35 or so, but I'm glad we were able to do it. I think it's probably done some good. It's brought attention to the problem.
Well, it certainly has done some good, a substantial amount of financial help, but more importantly, I think it's elevated the plight and the struggle of farmers, small and mid-sized farmers, and among those are minority farmers. And as a result of the advocacy that you and others have been engaged in, minority farmers, socially disadvantaged farmers are going to get a real boost from the American Rescue Plan. We're in the process at USDA, and I think you'll be interested in knowing this, of focusing on a debt relief program that's going to relieve literally thousands of these farmers from the debt loads that they've incurred in acknowledgement of the challenges and struggles they've had as a result of past discrimination, the cumulative effect of a system that necessarily hasn't been structured to help them or to assist them, and to create an opportunity for us, additional resources for market development and land access and technical assistance, all of which they need. Michael, you've been engaged in this fight, not as long as Willie has, but pretty significantly as a producer and an advocate. We've obviously seen significant disruption during COVID of the supply chain. What's the message there for people in my position, people in Congress, people in the administration? What do we need to know about COVID and its effect and impact on the supply chain? What do we need to do about it?
Well, sir, I think the pandemic really shined a bright spotlight on the fallibility that came along with the efficiency that we built into this food system of ours. When one plant takes down 5% of the processing capacity for beef in the United States, that's a pretty sure sign that we've got too many eggs in too few baskets. We're really, at Farmers Union, at both the state and national level, have been really engaged in having conversations about how to rebuild that local infrastructure that's been lost, the local and regional infrastructure that's been lost over the years as the industry's consolidated and vertically integrated. So one of the big things that we're pushing for hard right now is taking a look at how we can shore up that and rebuild that infrastructure required for small and medium family farmers to do things the right way and have market and have access to market for the products that they can create in those ways. And all farmers, from soup to nuts, we advocate for every kind of family farmer, and it's my great honor and pleasure to do so.
Well, there's opportunity with the American Rescue Plan. Congress has allocated at the administration's request several $billions to begin the process of addressing the supply chain resiliency issue. And I think there's an opportunity for us to begin to have a conversation, not just about yield, but also about profit and the ability for small and mid-sized producers to have that local market where they can negotiate their price, where they have greater control over what they get, and also to expand, as you mentioned, processing capacity so there's more competition for that farmer dollar and for whatever the farmers are producing. We're looking at the American Jobs Plan as well. The passage of that could create significant opportunities. You can't have a local and regional market without access to technology, and that's broadband, clearly important. And you certainly you need roads and bridges and all that, but you also need an understanding of the necessity of that broadband infrastructure to allow that local and regional market to really take off. Willie, you've been an advocate for a number of alternative crops that I think are important as well in this conversation about yield and profitability. And I know one of them that you've talked about before is industrial hemp. Tell us a little bit about why you think that's important to bring into this conversation.
Well, with industrial hemp, we'll have a way to produce food, fuel, fiber, and we can also replenish the soil. It's good for in every respect. I think it's something that we need to seriously consider because we need it right now.
Well, the good news is the Department of Agriculture has finalized its rules to give clear direction to producers of industrial hemp to begin creating that market opportunity. And that, I think, is a gateway to a conversation about soil health. Michael, as a farmer, you kind of understand that when that soil stops giving, you're out of business. Climate smart agriculture practices pretty important to soil health as well, aren't they?
Absolutely, and the beauty of it is it helps with the farm's bottom line as well. Building that soil rather than continuing to keep it on life support, as we've done chronically for quite a while now. In order to grow a crop, you need all those inputs, and those inputs go up with every spike in price, like the one that we're in right now, but never seem to come back down when that price falls out. So for the last 6 years or so, I remember having read statistics that it costs more to plant a bushel of corn than what you could recover for it at the elevator at the end of the season, by the time you factored in all the fuels spent and the inputs. So yeah, very definitely, it's central to the conversation. Climate smart agriculture, taking the soil from the atmosphere and putting it back into the groundwork and doing some good instead of leaving it up there where it's doing us some bad, has a lot of benefits besides the obvious. Carbon sequestration is great for the planet, but it's also really great for family farmers and allowing them to keep profitable and solvent on the land in order to keep on feeding us. You know, it's a very small percentage of the population that's feeding a growing population, and we're needing to look at things a little differently rather than we can't continue in perpetuity doing it the way that we have. So I think this is a perfect time to really have those discussions and help shore everybody up.
Well, the American Jobs Plan actually invests in climate smart agricultural practices as well, recognizing the nature of green infrastructure in addition to gray infrastructure. And it's another good reason why I'm hopeful that Congress sees the wisdom of the president's efforts to build the infrastructure of this country. Both of you guys have seen struggling families. Willie, you've been on the road, for years and years and years, no doubt. You've seen a lot of folks, the famous and the struggling. Give me a sense of of what you think we ought to be doing at the Department of Agriculture and elsewhere to help out struggling families?
Well, I think we should encourage the financial industry to be very helpful to the family farmer. The bankers, for instance, there was a time, and there may still be that time in some places, where bankers refused to loan the farmer enough money to do next year's crop unless he puts a lot of pesticides and chemicals in the soil that will definitely ruin the soil in a few years, and it will deplete everything there. So my complaint was that they demanded that the farmer put all that on his land. I think that's wrong. I think it should be illegal. I think the farmer should be allowed to plant on his farm the way he knows it should be. He knows his land. He knows what it can produce. I think farm to markets are also a great idea, where people, instead of buying their breakfast from 1,500 miles away on a truck, they go next door and find a farmer who can produce for them and buy at the local farm to market. That's very important.
Well, totally agree that we need a local and regional food system, no question about it. And one of the reasons why I'm excited about what this Biden-Harris administration is doing is they really are focusing on trying to build that local and regional food system. You know, I was at a farmer's market on Saturday, and we're walking by buying some rhubarb and a bunch of other products produced by the local folks, and I came across this area. This woman who had this button on her shirt. It said, "Ask me about cowpots." Cowpots, COWPOTS. So I did. I asked her about cowpots. Well, it turns out this is a company that takes manure from dairy operations and creates planters that you put your plants in, where you put your little starter plants, and it's it's a kind of value-added opportunity that I think we need to do more of. You want to talk about a local and regional system? There's converting potentially a problem in some parts of the country where we over-apply nutrients to creating a new processing opportunity, a new manufacturing opportunity, and also a new market for farmers. And I think the Biden-Harris administration has money in the jobs plan to help bio-based manufacturing. So there's another opportunity for a new revenue source. And I think the imagination, I think it's unlimited what can be done there from what's produced on Michael's farm and everybody else's farm. Look, you've been very generous with your time. Let me ask you, both of you been vaccinated?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes, sir.
Vaccinated? Okay. So there you go. There you go. So you can go to Willie's concerts without a mask. Others not necessarily can. Willie, what advice do you have for your concert goers? Vaccinate, not vaccinate? How are you feeling about this?
Well, it's been a rough year, of course, for not only the musicians, but for the people who enjoy music. And they haven't been able to go to a concert in over a year. And for a guitar player like me, that's rough. So, I want to get back out there and play. I don't want to make anybody sick. I want to make sure that it's safe before we go out there, that everybody in the audience has been vaccinated. I think that's important. And I think we're headed that way. A big percentage of the people have been, and more it will follow. I think this administration has done a fantastic job in encouraging people to get vaccinated.
Well, Willie, didn't you just celebrate a birthday not too long ago?
I'm 88 now.
And he's 88. I tell you what, I hope I'm upright at 88, much less thinking about going to perform it at a concert. Listen, guys, we appreciate you taking the time. Appreciate all you're doing for farmers, for small and mid-sized and socially disadvantaged farmers. We are partnering with you all at USDA to try to create a new opportunity and a new chance for these folks to really make a living. Michael, thank you for your service as a farmer, but also your service in the military as well. And Willie, God bless you for everything you've done. Best of luck. And I'm going home and putting on a couple of those albums that you've produced. It's great music. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it. And Willie and Michael and Jennifer, I will be sending the video as soon as we get through this. Should send that hopefully by tomorrow. And Secretary will follow up with your team as well. Thank you all so much for doing this again. Really, really appreciate it.
Check the gate this time.
Yeah. Got to make sure it's we've
checked it. It's there. It's there.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Have a
all.
good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Take good care.
Thank you, Michaela. Bye.